Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we sift through the noise and pull out the key insights for you. Today, as part of the Deep Seek Diaries, we're doing a deep dive into a really popular book on Amazon, one that's made some serious waves. It's The Psychology of Money, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed, and Happiness by Morgan Housel. You know, money, it's usually taught like, it's all math, right? Spreadsheets, formulas. But Housel kind of flips that. He says, look, doing well with money, it's not really about what you know. It's about how you behave. And behavior, well, that's super hard to teach, even to really smart people. This book dives into how our own experiences, our view of the world, ego, pride, even marketing, how it all gets mixed up and messes with our financial choices, often without us even, realizing it.
Yeah, and what's so interesting is just how relevant this feels for, well, pretty much anyone trying to manage their money or invest. It's definitely not another dry finance textbook, It really makes you question your assumptions. It focuses on that human side, the psychology that actually drives things.
Exactly. And the numbers, well, they speak for themselves. Over 8 million copies sold worldwide. Right now it's what? Hashtag 14 on the Amazon charts. And a hashtag 1 bestseller in a few categories: personal money management, investing, even occupational psychology.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's popped up on big podcasts, too, like Dr. Chatterjee's and The Diary of a CEO, so it's clearly struck a chord. Okay, before we go on, just a quick reminder, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like the video. This is the Deep Seek Diaries, and you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the usual suspects. We've linked all the resources we're talking about today, books, websites, everything down in the description. Oh, and please do check out our terms and conditions when you get a moment. Okay, let's get back into it. So this core idea, behavior over brains, what's the fundamental mindset shift Housel wants us to make right off the bat, beyond just the numbers?
Well, the central argument, the core thesis, is that financial success, it's really a soft skill. It's not a hard science, despite how it's often presented. It's much less about complex formulas and market data and much more about understanding yourself, managing your own behavior. He puts forward this really powerful idea that your personal experiences with money, even if they're just a tiny slice of what's happened globally, they shape maybe like 80% of how you think the whole financial world operates.
80%.
Oh.
Wow. So our little bubble massively influences our big picture view.
Exactly. Your personal biases can really dominate your financial worldview.
And he uses 19 short stories to show this. I thought the ones about, brilliant people making totally irrational money decisions were fascinating. What stood out most for you in those anecdotes? Was there anything particularly counterintuitive?
Yeah, those stories are great. And looking at the popular highlights on Kindle, you can see what really clicks with readers. One that comes up again and again, and I found it really potent, is this. There is no reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need.
Simple, but powerful.
Right. It's a lesson in contentment, really, and practical risk management. Yeah. It pushes back against that constant chase for more. Another big one highlights the psychological side. Having a strong sense of controlling one's life is a more dependable predictor of positive feelings of well-being than any of the objective conditions of life.
So feeling in control matters more than the actual dollar amount, potentially.
Yeah, it underlines how much our mental state, our sense of autonomy, connects to happiness, not just the raw numbers in the bank account.
That is powerful. It's not just about piling up cash, but how you feel about it and feeling like you're steering the ship. And that connects to the idea of enough, doesn't it? That amazing story about Joseph Heller, the author of Catch-22.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Right. He's at a party. Someone points out a hedge fund manager who made more money that day than Heller made from his massive bestseller over decades. And Heller just says, but I have something he will never have enough. It sticks with you. It really makes you stop and think, what is enough for me?
It perfectly captures one of the book's absolute core insights. Another really popular highlight. The hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. It's a direct challenge to that societal pressure, that treadmill of always needing more. It forces you to define enough for yourself.
Because otherwise it just keeps creeping up, right? You make more, you suddenly need more.
Precisely. And it leads to this interesting question Housel raises. If real wealth is the stuff you don't see, the savings, the freedom, the control over your time, why are we so often focused on the visible things, the cars, the houses, things that actually reduce our savings?
It's a paradox, isn't it? Spending money to show people you have money is the fastest way to have less money. Okay, so moving from the why to the how, what are some of the really big, timeless lessons here that you can actually apply? Practical shifts, not just ideas.
Well, one absolutely critical lesson is the power of compounding. It's Staggering, really, and often underestimated. Halsey uses Warren Buffett as the prime example. Something like $81.5 billion of his $84.5 billion net worth came after he turned 65.
After 65, even though he started investing as a kid.
Yeah, exactly. That's compounding. Your money makes money, and then that money starts making money. It's exponential, but it takes time, a long time. So Hasel's point is Buffett's skill is investing, sure, but his real secret weapon, it's time. This teaches us that good investing isn't always about chasing the absolute highest returns, because those are often hard to repeat, kind of flashy. Instead, it's about earning pretty good returns that you can stick with and which can be repeated for the longest period of time. That's when compounding goes wild.
So patience and consistency, sticking with it rather than jumping at every hot tip.
You got it. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And you mentioned getting versus staying wealthy earlier.
Yeah.
Halsey says they're different, right? Why is that distinction so important?
Absolutely. Getting money might involve taking risks, being optimistic, putting yourself out there, but keeping it. That often requires the opposite. It needs humility, maybe a bit of fear or paranoia even, which leads to this crucial idea of a margin of safety. Basically, planning for the fact that your plan probably won't go exactly according to plan.
Right, because life happens.
Life happens. Things go wrong. Unexpected things crop up. Things that have never happened before happen all the time, as he puts it. So the margin of safety isn't about predicting perfectly. It's about making prediction less necessary because you have a buffer. Think about buying a house. The margin isn't just the down payment. It's having extra savings for repairs or if you lose your job, resilience.
That makes sense. It applies way beyond just stocks.
Definitely.
He also talks about something called the end of history illusion. I found that really interesting. It's this idea that we know how much we've changed in the past, but we kind of assume our current selves, our goals, our desires are the finished product. We underestimate future change.
Yeah, it's a funny bias. We look back and think, wow, I was so different 10 years ago, but we struggle to imagine being that different 10 years from now.
Exactly. And that has huge implications for long-term financial planning, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're young. Career paths, how much risk you take.
For sure. And it connects to another bias he brings up, how pessimism often sounds smarter, more plausible than optimism.
Oh, yeah. Bad news travels fast.
Right. Progress happens too slowly to notice, but setbacks happen too quickly to ignore. Think about the news cycle. Market crashes get headlines. Slow, steady growth doesn't. This focus on the negative, what could go wrong, can make us miss out on long-term opportunities or underestimate our own resilience.
So how do we fight that? How do we appreciate the slow, steady climb?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It takes conscious effort, perspective, focusing on the long game.
Okay, pausing for a sec. Hope you're finding this useful. Just a reminder to please subscribe to the Deep Seek Diaries and like this video if you are. You can also find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and now Twitter too. All the links, including the book and other resources, are in the description below. All right, so when you boil it all down, it seems like Halsey is really advocating for, well, simplicity and managing our own ego.
Very much so. He literally says, less ego, more wealth.
Because nobody cares about your stuff as much as you do.
Exactly. And trying to show off with spending is just the quickest way to have less money. And related to that, for investors, he says, the single most powerful thing you can do is increase your time horizon. Let compounding do its work over decades.
Right. Time again, not timing.
Precisely. And maybe the most fundamental point of all, building wealth often has less to do with your income or your investment returns and almost everything to do with your savings rate.
That's the bit everyone can control, regardless of income.
Absolutely. It's universal, what you don't spend. Because wealth is relative to what you need, and often our needs are inflated by ego. So controlling spending, boosting that savings rate, that's the lever most people can pull hardest.
Okay, so bringing it back to the listener, who is this book really for? Who gets the most out of this deep dive into the psychology of money?
Well, I'd say it's fundamentally for anyone who wants to be simply better with money, not necessarily someone chasing a get-rich-quick scheme. It's definitely insightful for investors trying to understand why markets move, the human element, and I think it's especially valuable for younger adults just starting out. It gives you that foundational understanding, the timeless lessons that formal education often skips. It makes you ask those big questions like, what's actually enough for me?
Good point, but it's not a step-by-step guide.
Right. It's crucial to know that. It's not filled with formulas or invest in the stock type advice. If you're looking for a prescriptive how-to manual, this might feel different. It's more about the mindset, the why behind our financial behavior.
Got it. The why and the how we think, not just the what to do, which makes sense given the title. And looking at Amazon, the social proof is pretty overwhelming. 4.6 stars out of 5. From over 60,000 global ratings. That's huge.
It really is. And when you look through those customer reviews, you see the same themes popping up over and over. People rave about its readability. They use words like fantastically written, easy to read, digestible. That comes up constantly.
So it's accessible, not academic.
Exactly. Then there's the insight into money. People say it offers valuable insights, a genuine mindset shift. Many mention it helped them think about money in a way they hadn't before. And the structure, the story length. People love the short, snappy chapters, the relatable stories. It makes it engaging, easy to pick up and put down, but also hard to put down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it sounds like it really connects because it uses stories, not just theory.
Precisely. It translates complex ideas into things people can easily grasp and remember.
Okay, but for a balanced view, nothing's perfect. Were there any common criticisms or things people wished were different?
Sure, while it's overwhelmingly positive, you do see a few minor points. Some reviewers felt it got a bit repetitive towards the end, maybe hammering some points home a little too much for their liking. Others wished for more what to do next advice, which, again, just confirms it's not that kind of prescriptive book.
Right, confirms who it's not for.
Exactly. And occasionally you'll see comments about minor spelling mistakes or grammatical errors, or someone with a deep finance background might find it very basic.
Okay, pretty minor stuff in the grand scheme of things, given the praise.
Very minor, yeah. The vast majority of feedback is glowing.
And how does all that feedback line up with our own take from this deep dive? Does it sound about right?
I think it aligns almost perfectly. The strengths, everyone highlights, the readability, the focus on behavior, the great storytelling. Those are exactly what make the book so effective and why we're discussing it. And the minor criticisms, they just reinforce what the book is. It's meant for a broad audience, offering foundational wisdom on money psychology, not a technical manual for advanced finance pros. It delivers exactly what the title promises.
Yeah, it really feels like it nails that. So wrapping up this deep dive into the psychology of money really hammers home that managing your finances well, it's less about knowing complex algorithms or predicting markets. It's much more about understanding yourself, your biases, your emotions, your definition of enough, building that solid psychological foundation.
Absolutely. It's about mastering the soft skills of money. Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe something for you to consider this week. If financial success is truly a soft skill rooted in behavior, what's one specific behavior you could focus on cultivating or changing to better align with your own financial goals and maybe find a greater sense of enough?
Something to chew on. Well, we hope you enjoyed today's deep dive from the DeepSeek Diaries. Please don't forget to check out all the linked resources in the description section down below. Hit those subscribe and like buttons on your way out if you haven't already. Until the next deep dive, goodbye.